If you are dealing with low back and hip pain that radiates around the side and to the back, or even down the leg and into the front of the knee, this video is for you. Oftentimes, back pain and hip pain or hip immobility are very correlated and one of those underlying problems that not a lot of people look at. So if you're noticing pain with compression of the hip, pain with compression and torsion of the hip, and limited mobility, I want you to try these few drills and tell me in the comments below if they feel better. It's only going to take a few minutes of your time, and it only requires a couple thick resistance bands to self-mobilize your hip and release your back tension. So let's go ahead and jump in. I want to show you my favorite sequence of events and the anatomy and physiology behind the movement so you can understand what we're doing and then take these principles to continue to make them benefit you in the long run. My first favorite movement is long axis traction. Traction is going to be giving that hip a little bit of space by using the support of the resistance band. Now, in an ideal world, I would get one thick band. This is about an average size band, maybe 30 or 40 pounds of resistance. I would go with the 50, 60, or 70 pound band because your hip is really, really strong and your leg is pretty heavy. Since I don't have that available, I just wanted to show you how I would tie this around. Really simple. We're going to take the one looped band, tie it around the frame, and then loop it in on itself. And since we don't have the really heavy band, we're going to use two lighter bands. Now, to get our leg locked into the band here, what we're going to do is simply place our foot in the strap. We're going to crisscross the strap around to create an X. And then I want you to bring your leg up and around the right side and then up and around the left side, if that is your right leg. So what we did was create that strap almost in a figure 8 fashion. And I want my toes for the right leg to be on the outside of the band here. And this is important for this reason. I want my leg to go into what's called the open pack position. The open pack position is the position of the hip where it has the most space in the hip joint and the hip capsule so we can create the most traction. The open pack position is a little bit of elevation, a little bit of abduction, so coming away from the body, and a little bit of external rotation. And so this is why it's important for the foot to be on the outside of the bands and the toe just having that little bit of support from the band there itself. I have the band intentionally about knee high, somewhere in that 12 to 14 inch range from the ground. So what I can do now is simply lay back. I've got a little tension on the band. I'm going to let the band take me so it's pulling my leg away as well as bringing me into the open pack position. And I'm simply going to breathe and let the band win. And that's going to create a millimeter or two of space inside that joint capsule. Feels so good. And you can get as much or as little tension as you feel you need. More is not necessarily better because you can leave it for a sustained amount of time. Usually somewhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes is plenty for this, for a single round of the traction. And this is a great start because it's going to open up space in that hip joint and get us ready for our next few mobilizations. Now, our next mobilization is going to be a posterior glide. I've raised up the band ever so lightly here, so it's just about knee high, and that's going to be really important when I get into position here. What I'm going to do is cinch the band up as high in the groin as I can, because I wanted to take purchase of the hip joint itself right at the capsule. And as the femur moves up, the head of the femur kind of cocks into the hip joint itself. So getting it nice and snug into the joint is really important here. Secondly, make sure that your foot, knee, hip, and the anchor of the band are all in line here. You want to make sure that you have a good amount of tension there and that everything is symmetrical. And I even consider keeping the shoulder and the pelvis in line as well as I'm setting myself up for this mobilization. For this posterior mobilization, I want the joint to move in a backwards fashion and create that little bit of tension pulling me back. So what I'm going to do here is my hip flexor stretch. And this is the way you guys should be doing your hip flexor stretch. Number one is getting a 90-degree angle in this split stance position. We're going to make sure, as I mentioned earlier, that the shoulders, the pelvis, and the knees are in line. Most people will have the foot just inside of the body, so their hip is turned out ever so lightly. And the way you actually want to do your hip flexor stretch is to make sure that your hip is actually internally rotated ever so lightly so that heel can be just outside of the body. Next, what you're going to do is to do a posterior pelvic tilt. So you want to take your pelvis. If you had a big Texas belt buckle or rodeo belt buckle right here, go ahead and raise that belt buckle up, squeeze your affected glute, and lift the chest. And you're gonna get a nice deep stretch right in the front of that hip, and that is your yes. That's when you know that you nailed this. You're gonna hold it for a single breath and then come off of it. Now, if you need something like a physio ball, stability ball, bench, to give yourself just a little bit of balance, totally okay. Remember, this isn't a balance exercise, it's a hip mobilization. So do what you need to do to be successful here. Usually a couple sets of 5 to 10 repetitions, oscillating on and off for 1 second is perfect. And that's gonna just give you that deep stretch, get the range of that hip, get that hip joint moving in the socket, and get your nervous system to recognize that you can move into this direction pain-free. Our next stretch is going to be really similar but opposite. Now I'm facing the band and I'm making sure that my hip, knee, and heel, as well as shoulder, are all in line with the band here. I've got the band wrapped around right under my gluteal fold here and right at the base of my hip joint. And I'm going to do the same hip flexor stretch. I'm in my split stance position. I want to perform that posterior pelvic tilt. So I'm putting the hip flexor on stretch and I'm pushed back enough to where I have a good amount of tension on and then simply hinging back. So pushing through my glute off. And now the band is pulling me into an anterior position. So it's a forward mobilization, which is something that a lot of people don't train. And I find even a lot of manual therapists don't take their patients into anterior hip mobilization. And if you felt that pinch in the front of your hip, this one might be something that you consider, because I find that it's just a position that either A, is not trained, or B, is something that the nervous system is not used to going into. And it's really important for things like deep squatting, especially if you're getting that forward pinch there. Train yourself to be able to touch tension and then leave. And that's all we're doing here, is touching tension and leaving, never going into or through pain. It can be a deep stretch, even a deep kind of like fascial tension throughout the front of the abdomen, but really important to just breathe through that. 1 second on, everything goes away, and then go back and touch it again. Now, this final mobilization is one of my favorites. And especially, gentlemen, we don't train to go into a lateral position very often. So make sure that you're opening up your hip movements and working in 3 dimensions. If you need some support with that, go ahead and check out some of my other videos, or do me a favor and hit subscribe right now. I would really appreciate that piece. That helps me to continue to make content for you guys and help to get all this back pain information out there so we can heal naturally once and for all. What we're gonna do is to line up side by side with the band. Again, the band cinches up as high as we can in the hip to get good purchase of that hip joint. Again, use an amount of tension in the band that feels good to you. And whether that's the thickness of the band or how far out you're pulling, it should always be comfortable. Now what we're going to do is go into a side glide position. What I like to do is take a C-shaped level of my hand, place it right under the pocket. There's a little bone right here on the outside of the hip. That's your greater trochanter. So not necessarily up at the lower back or at the pelvis, but even a bit lower. And as we side glide into this, we're going to help that joint to have a medial glide, an inside glide into that ball and socket. We're gonna hold as we just have for 1 breath, and we're just working into depth that we can control. Notice I've got the ball here because, again, I'm not working into balance. I'm just working into depth and range, my mobility, trying to get this hip to move in a way that's new, novel, and pain-free. Each of these mobilizations can be used either in itself to relieve and alleviate back pain and help with some of that hip tension, or as a dynamic workout before your functional training to prepare your body for dynamic movements. If you've been struggling with back pain for a little bit, I'd love to know what kind of things that you've tried or what type of content and questions that you have about healing back pain naturally. This is one of my big passions, is to create content that's going to serve you guys and move some people forward naturally without spending thousands of dollars on doctor's bills or medical appointments, missed work, that kind of thing. I was there myself during my disc herniation, and I wish that I had found a channel like what I'm hoping to put out for you guys. Do you want a little bonus tip? Here's one I've got for you. Now, the next piece of the puzzle, once we have our hips open and nice and mobile and flexible and everything is feeling good and I can move pain-free, is to train that active motion. And so spending time in your deep positions, whether that's a squat, whether that's a lunge, or whether that's some other variation of a functional movement pattern, is really important. Allow yourself to build up the tolerance, the confidence, and the ingrams, the ingrained movement pattern, to be able to perform these functional lifts. Otherwise, I hope that was really helpful for you guys today. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. If not, hit subscribe, like, and all the things. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.